Hi folks, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. This is the Tiburon. That's Spanish for shark by Tekut. This is a very cool knife. I am liking this knife an awful lot. It's one of the best brand new knives that I've experienced, at least in the last half of 2017. In early 2017, a lot of good knives came out, but these ones are coming out in the last quarter. You can find these in a few stores, the Tiburon and its sibling, the Tough. This is the Tough. Anyhow, this video is about the Tiburon and slight change from the pre-production version of this knife, only on the blade finish. If you're buying this knife, if you're finding it online and you see pictures of a nice satin finish on the blade, no, you're not getting a knife with a satin finish. You're getting a knife with this finish. It only comes with this one finish. They changed their minds from the pre-production to the production version of the knife, gave it a sandblasted finish to remind them of, or to remind the owner of, shark skin. You know, sandblasted. If those of you who've never seen a shark up close, never touched a shark, it's sort of a sandy kind of rough sandpaper kind of finish. This is not rough to the touch, although it feels a little, ever so slightly grippy if you slide your finger across it. It's not super smooth like a stone wash, but it's got just a very, very, very fine texture to that. Maybe when I do my microscopic picture of it, you'll see some details of that sandblast, but there you go. It's a 3D milled handle. It's thinner here and it gets thicker. I love this knife. It's great at cutting. Sandvik steel blade. Feels great in the hand. Mobillip pocket clip. Super ultra deep. Open pillar construction. Stick around for the full review. You're going to want to see this. The Tiburon. Spanish for shark. Can you see this shark? Almost. Wow. I love this knife. This is my favorite new knife from the last half of 2017. Time flies. It's a big knife. It's a full-size flipper. I've got large hands bordering on extra large, and see what I've got left here. If you've got extra large hands, the Tiburon's going to suit you wonderfully. But if you've got smaller hands and you want a big knife, this 3D milling, see how thin they made it right there and how the handle gets thicker? Just the way they designed it and milled it, this is a very comfortable knife in smaller hands as well. Awesome design. Very seldom do you see 3D milling on the G10 handle scales to make it thinner up here. This sort of side jimping helps give you a really good grip in the hand. You know, the side of your thumb and the inside of your knuckle right there. Nice jimping on the thumb riser to help give really good grip. The flipper arm doesn't have any jimping on it. I really like that an awful lot. And it flips super easy. You just barely push on it. You can do the button press and it flies open. You can do the light switch just lightly. That doesn't look dramatic enough for you? There you go. See, you can make it come out a whole lot faster if you want as well. It doesn't have to come open nice and slow and smooth. The bearings on this are awesome. Sure, I'll show you a picture of the bearings right now. Works really, really well. The liners are skeletonized. So I'll show you, actually the show side liners have nice skeletonization. The working side here just got a few little cutouts in them, not an awful lot. Lockup, very, very nice lockup. I'll show you a close-up of that as well. No blade play, side to side, up and down. When the knife's halfway closed, the bearings and pivot, everything's nice and snug. When the knife is closed, the blade centering is perfect, right on. Not only does the jimping at the front of the knife here help, but the jimping down here at the back, that tiny bit, that side jimping I'm calling it, helps, you know, to give you all kinds of different grips on this knife. Sneak up. I like to sometimes sneak up and put my middle finger in that choil. Finger along the side, for some delicate cutting. Put your hand in the back grip. That really helps. It's not hot at all in the hand. The thumb up the pocket clip sometimes looks like it might be hot in the hand, but it's not. You can grab really tight and hard and use it that way. Forward, same thing. And again, that index finger grabs that little bit of jimping there, and you get a really good hold on this. As you can see, my hands are large. You got room for extra large hands on this knife. You want to grab it down there. You've got that much extra left. This is a very nice knife. You've got loads of options for how you want to hold it and use it. It's excellent that way. Full size folder for anybody, and yet thin enough and light enough for even medium, maybe even small men's hands. It all depends. Probably not so much small men's hands, but if you got medium hands, I'm sure this knife you're going to find a good use for it, as well as the guys with the really large hands. Sometimes you just want that knife with that extra grip, that extra reach that you could use. Excellent knife. I can't overstate how much I like that they thin this out right here. This is a knife that looks a little different than what it looks like in stores. The pictures online show a satin finish blade. So here is the pre-production Tiburon that I got. You can see it's got that nice satin finish. You can even see the grind lines on it right there. Looks really nice. And this is the production version. And that's that really fine sandblast on there. As you can see, you can barely read the names and stuff. I've spoken with Tekut about that, and they're looking into, for the next production run, for a different way of getting the name and the details printed onto the blade so that it's easier to read. But you can still make it out. It says Tiburon, designed by Sam Leung. It's hard to say, Leung. I'm terrible with the names. Still the same Sandvik 12C27 steel, same big long blade, same grind. Saber grind, which means a flat grind right there. Lots of straight edge to the blade, a little bit of belly, super stabby tip. Nice swedge up here. Let's talk about all the sizes on this knife. Let's zoom in a little bit. The cutting edge on this knife, 9.6 centimeters, 3.77 inches. The blade length, just a tiny bit larger, 9.7 centimeters, 3.82 inches. The blade thickness, 2.99 millimeters, according to my vernier caliper. Is that 3 millimeters or what? 0.118 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is awesome, 0.55 millimeters. That's 0.022 inches. I love that thickness on this big knife. 3 3/4 inches, just over 3 3/4 inches of cutting edge, having a thickness behind the grind of 0.55 makes this a great slicing, cutting, stabbing knife. Excellent for that. Handle length is 12.7 centimeters, 4.98 inches, so basically 5-inch handle. Grip area is about 4 inches, 10.2 centimeters. The handle thickness at the thickest point that I could measure it is 1.5 centimeters. That's 0.585 inches. Of course, quite a bit less up here. And the total length of this knife in the open position is 22.4 centimeters, which is 8.82 inches. So a knife that's just shy of 9 inches, weighing 5.4 ounces or 152 grams, not a problem at all. So I'm loving this knife. There's a few stores where you can buy this. There's one store in the US that I saw, Knives Plus, has this for $32.99 US, so $33 basically. There's a store in Germany that has this right now for 44.9 euros, and I'll give you a link for that. Now, there's also a store in Romania and Poland that have this knife at time of recording. Hopefully stores like GearBest will have these knives fairly soon, but at time of recording, they're not there yet. I guess it's time for some cut tests now, isn't it? I got myself an apple. I don't usually like apples that much. Royal Gala are okay in my book. There we go. Yeah. Some of it was breaking, some of it was cutting. We'll be able to tell better once we, that was all cut, not much break. Yeah, getting close to the center there. Let's try this. But I'm sure the apple didn't feel any pain. Let's try some paracord. I've got 4 layers of 7-strand paracord here. Zips through that very easily. No problem. Let's see how well it cuts regular copy paper. It's okay, not super great. Remember, from the factory, most knives aren't crazy sharp. This is quite sharp. It's doing an okay job. Here's some receipt paper. I've been cutting a little bit already. Forgot to record. I didn't hit record when I was doing that. Cuts okay with receipt paper. It's actually quite hard to cut receipt paper. There you go. That's my little bit of cut tests. It cuts pretty well. I really don't value cut tests much at all. It's just not a valid performance to me until I've sharpened the knife myself. That's when I can really tell how well a knife cuts through actual practice. The other way I can tell how well a knife cuts is just using my brain, the type of steel and the thickness behind the grind. That'll tell me pretty much how well a knife will cut because I've got that much experience with knives. So if you're a novice knife collector, now get yourself experience. The knives you have, get used to them, see how well they cut. If you can, see how thick they are behind the grind, and then do some cut tests yourself and see, well, how does that feel? And how well is it cutting? And that way, when you hear me talk about knives, you can compare what I'm saying about the specs with your knowledge on your knives, and you'll be able to figure out if you think that that knife is going to cut as good as, or better, or worse than the knives that you're used to having. And that will help you get an informed decision on if you want to buy a knife or not. What do I like and not like about this knife? I love the detent. It's a great detent, holds very well. You can see it suck the blade in there. It's a good strength. You want to see how smooth the action is when you close the knife? Well, you just close it a little bit and you come over it, just give it a little shake and it pulls it in. See that? Just a tiny little shake. Great action for a budget knife, if you ask me. Great size to weight ratio. Really nice steel choice, 12C27 for a $30 knife. Great grip positions for this knife. So many different ways to hold it. Just love that an awful lot. Really, really nice. I like that. Fit and finish is awesome, especially this G10 work. I can't get over how nice the G10 work is. The pillars in this open pillar construction are nice 3D shape. I'll give you a close-up picture of that. And of course, it's got this trademarked pocket clip. It's a Mobillip pocket clip, quite functional. It's got a detent that'll hold it either in the closed position or in the extended position. Super deep carry that way. And what else do I like and don't like about this knife? I like this, that it's a flipper, so it's right and left compatible. No thumb studs, so it's easy to slice through things and never catches on anything. It's easy for somebody with the left hand to use this knife. Not a problem at all. And of course, right hand as well. It's just a superb knife for right or left carry, although the pocket clip is only right hand tip up, just like on the Tough. So what do I not like? Well, I'd prefer a satin blade, but really that's a nitpicky thing. I don't really mind this sandblasted finish at all. There's certain points at which the pocket clip is not the best for me. When it's in the pocket like this, it's just great. You can't really see the knife at all. The pocket clip holds really well. It's easy to take out, easy to put in, no problem at all. But when you have the blade extended, or not the blade, when you have the pocket clip extended and you put it in your pocket, sometimes it's a little bit hard to take out. And I think it's because, well, there, I had to do it that time. I think it's because, you know, imagine this is in my pocket right now and it's deep. I have to grab it here, and where else can I grab it? Well, on the exact opposite side of that finger, right? And so I end up grabbing on the pocket clip and pushing, because I squeeze a little bit, I'm pushing that pocket clip into the fabric of my pocket, and it's pinching it, making it harder to pull out. So I'm not sure what Tekut can do, but hopefully they'll look into this and see if there's something they can do about it just to make it a little bit more effective. It's a really cool pocket clip. I like it an awful lot. There's a lot of times when you want to use this ultra deep carry, and this is the only company that does something like this that I know of. So it's not a big deal. I'm just mentioning a small concern that I have. Sometimes when it's super deep, it makes it a little bit trickier to pull out in a hurry. And, you know, it happened right there. And see, when it's in, and I wasn't trying to do this on purpose, I'm not trying to pull it out slowly. It literally is, you know, like that. When it's ultra deep, it's a little bit trickier to pull the knife out. On certain pants, really thick, heavy jeans with a thick seam right here, that makes it a little bit harder. Thinner slacks and stuff, not so much of a concern at all. So not a big deal, especially with this designed knife, especially with this handle. I really, really like this knife an awful lot. If you liked this video, please click on like, even if you don't like the knife. Click that thumbs up. Share this video with somebody. I'm sure a lot of people are interested in this knife. Let other people know about this channel. We're getting close to a big giveaway that we'll do when we get to 2,500 subscribers. And if you're looking for a knife with great action, that is a big full-size folder that doesn't weigh too much, consider the Tiburon by Tekut. Thanks for watching. Remember, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.